Hey guys, all right. Talked about TalkLab, talked about Virtual Steve a little bit in that other video. Let me actually make this a little bigger so you guys can all see fine. Flip show conversation on. I just want to give you a sense of Virtual Steve, how it works, how you can use it. So as you'll see, it's just a link. It's not connected to the LMS in any way. So again, when you're using Virtual Steve, it's completely anonymous. I have no idea who you are. It has no idea who you are. And yeah, let me just give you an example.
Hey, hi, please have a seat.
Hey, how you doing today? Partly I'm here to show you off to a new class I'm teaching. It's a group of students that are from Fredericton, New Brunswick. Would you like to say hello?
Of course. Hello to all the students from Fredericton, New Brunswick. Lovely to have you here. I hope you find our time together insightful and that you're excited to dive into the world of psychology. What brings you all here today?
Okay, well, they're here because, again, I'm kind of showing you off just for fun. Can you tell me a fun fact about Fredericton, New Brunswick?
Sure thing. Did you know that Fredericton is home to the Beaverbrook Art Gallery, which houses one of the most impressive art collections in Atlantic Canada? That area is such a great blend of culture and history. What's your connection to Fredericton?
I grew up very close by in Fredericton. I spent a lot of time there, and I know the art gallery that you speak of. Okay, so let me start showing you off a little bit. So let's say the students have just did a chapter about memory, and maybe a student comes in and says, I've heard about these different kinds of memory, semantic memory. Can you explain the different kinds of memory a little bit for me?
Of course. In psychology, we often break memory down into different types to better understand it. Semantic memory is one kind, and it refers to our general world knowledge, like facts and concepts. It's like having a mental encyclopedia. Then there's episodic memory, which is more about personally experienced events or episodes in your life, like remembering your last birthday party. Does that help to start with?
Yeah. What else are those the only two?
Those are two of the main types of explicit or declarative memory, but there's also implicit memory, which doesn't require conscious thought. Under implicit memory, there's procedural memory, like remembering how to ride a bike or tie your shoes. It's about knowing how rather than knowing that.
Knowing how rather than knowing that. Okay, cool. Very interesting. All right, so that's a great example of how you can answer questions about topics and stuff, which is great. Let's flip the tables a little bit. Let's say I just read a chapter about perception, sensation, and perception. And now I'd like to test how well I've learned things. So could you ask me, let's say, three questions that would come from a typical sensation perception psychology book?
Sure. Here's your first question. What is the main difference between sensation and perception?
So sensation is sort of the processing of the raw input. So information, say, coming into our eyes, and we're kind of building up what we're seeing part by part. But as we're doing that, we've seen things in the past, and so those past memories are helping us to kind of identify what it is we're looking at. And perception is actually that, a collection of things that we can see. Yeah, like objects that we recognize versus raw sensory input like lights or shapes or colors.
You've got the right idea. Sensation is all about receiving raw sensory information, while perception is about organizing and interpreting that information to form meaningful experiences. Here's a second question. What role do rods and cones in the retina play in vision?
Yeah, yeah. So if I remember this right, rods are the ones that we use when we're in low light conditions. So that they don't sense color, but they're very good at sensing sort of shades of gray. So when the light is very low, our rods help us sort of see what's still around. Kind of like when we've been in the movie theater for a while, we've been in the dark for a while, and then suddenly we can start to sort of see things in the dark. That's mostly our rods. Our cones allow us to see things in color. They require more light in order to function well, so that's why they work well in high light situations. And we have red cones, blue cones, and green cones, which together kind of form our perception of all the colors we're able to see.
Spot on. Rods are indeed responsible for low light vision and don't detect color, whereas cones do and account for our daytime color vision through those different types you mentioned. One more question.
But
What
hang
is
on,
the
what before you give me that question, just so I can show a new twist. Let's say that the exam I'm going to write has a lot of multiple choice questions, and those multiple choice questions sometimes have that applied nature where they're asking us to take something we learn and apply it in a new situation. Could you give that third question? Could you make it a multiple choice question that is one of those applied type questions?
Of course. Okay, let's try this one. You're driving at dusk and notice that it's getting harder to distinguish the colors of traffic lights, but you can still see the outline of the lights clearly. Which of the following best explains why this is happening? A, your rods are becoming more active and taking over from the cones. B, your cones are adjusting to low light conditions more effectively than the rods. C, the cones are hyperstimulated by the low light, reducing color distinction. D, your rods are being used to detect color, reducing overall vision clarity.
I believe the answer there would be A.
That's correct. Well done. As the light dims, your rods take over. They're more sensitive to low light, but don't convey color information as your cones do. See how that all ties together.
It does. It does. Okay, so now I want to show something else. The fact that, yes, you can answer questions about psychology. You can even ask questions about psychology, as you've been showing, as you've been demonstrating. But I want to show them that you can even go sort of beyond that in the sense of sort of helping them with the challenges of being a student. So let me ask you this one. I've got an exam coming up in this course. It's about 3 weeks away, and I'm really stressed. I really want to do well. Can you give me any advice about the sort of things I should be doing in these 3 weeks to do the best I can do on that exam?
Absolutely. It's understandable to feel stressed, but the key is preparation and self care. Start by creating a realistic study schedule where you break down the material into manageable chunks and stick to it. Consistency is vital. Secondly, don't forget to take breaks, get enough sleep, and maintain a healthy diet. All of these greatly influence your cognitive performance. Does that sound manageable?
Well, it's a good start, but you mentioned, breaking things into chunks and then sticking with them. But I find like every time I do that, I sit down and I'm ready to study something and I get distracted. I can't focus my attention on what I'm doing. Are there any techniques or strategies I could use to focus my attention better?
It's a really common challenge. One method you could try is the Pomodoro technique. This involves studying for 25 minutes, then taking a 5-minute break and repeat. Well, it looks like our time here is just about up. If you'd like to continue this chat later on, feel free to come by. Best of luck with your studies and goodbye.
Boof, just like that. Okay, so the reason that happened, by the way, and I'm glad it did happen so that you guys could see it, is we have to have a timer on these because it costs money. Every conversation costs money when you're interacting with AI and the voice model and all that. And if a student just leaves this open and running, it could just be racking up bills. And so because of that, we limit the duration of our sessions. You can hop right back in and start another session if you want to continue where you left off. But yeah, please note, I don't know what the actual total time is, but that's the total time. I'm going to highlight something, by the way, just at the end. I know many of you are probably doing this course while you have other things going on in your life. And it is tricky to find those times when you can study, and it's really frustrating when you find those times and you get distracted and you don't get the study in. Check out that Pomodoro technique. What it really is about is, yes, setting some time, say 25 minutes, but during that time, eliminating all forms of distraction. Turning your phone off. There's a button here, Turn your phone off so that no notifications will come in and pull your attention somewhere else. Go into a quiet space where nobody's going to disturb you. Put sound canceling headphones on if you need to. And then during those 25 minutes, if you can eliminate those sources of distraction, you will be amazed at how much you accomplish. And you'll feel really good after it. And the Pomodoro technique actually has you set a timer. You actually set that timer and you work for 25 minutes. And at the end of those 25 minutes, again, you feel good. It is the single most powerful approach I've seen students use to battle distraction, to kind of be able to have the willpower to keep their mind where they want it. We'll talk about more in the attention chapter. But anyway, for now, I just wanted to show you Virtual Steve, give you a sense of how you could use it. There you go. I hope you have fun. Enjoy it. All right, bye-bye.